showed up for Facebook.
Hello, Instagram. I'm back. Waiting for everyone to come back as well. Let's see if Jerrell can add on in. Here we go. Hello. Just trying to add, start Facebook really quickly. Clearly, I don't have my my technological. Oh, here we go. Here he is. Yay! Success. 1 second. Just starting Facebook. Start live video. I had everything all nice and set up. All right. 1 second. I'm just gonna pin what we're making one more time, and then I will let you in, Jerrell. Nice to see you there. Bacon. Oh, burger. Bacon jam burger is what we are making today with Jerrell Williams. Oops, misspelled his name. There we go. All right. Oh, I misspelled his name again. Sorry. It's 2 L's in his name, but we're going to get this thing started. All right, let's go live with Let Him In. All right, let's see. Technological. Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Welcome to Real Life Cooking.
Thank you. I'm trying to. Are there any lights on this thing? Can you? Okay.
Yeah, we could see you. We could hear you. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. There were some people here earlier before we were able to connect, and I was explaining Real Life Cooking is a meal or a show where we make a meal from start to finish with no TV magic. But today we have a little bit of TV magic. So we've already pre-cooked our mushrooms, and we have already made our bacon jam. We'll walk you through those one more time, but first, I want to do a proper introduction of you, Jerrell. So Jerrell Williams, 2 L's, not like the 1 L that I pinned in the comment, is the creator of Nomarama, and he is based out of Virginia, and he has a passion for showing people all the local gems in his city, and he's expanded to other places. But he has a lot of talents. He does a lot of different things. And we together were on Food and Wines, Beat the Receipt together. So if you haven't watched that episode on YouTube, make sure to check that out and let us know who you think won. But yeah, Jerrell, you want to say anything?
Yeah, Kathleen, first and foremost, thank you for having me. The Beat the Receipt contest was a lot of fun. It was my first time doing anything like that, kind of under that kind of pressure. But I had a blast, and for you to reach out to me to have this opportunity, I really appreciate it. So I'm ready to have some more fun, man.
Awesome. And burgers are kind of your thing. I'm going to fix my camera. My camera got a little funky, but burgers are like your thing, right? Like that's what you like.
Yeah, it's funny. So when I first started, as I mentioned to you a while back, I started doing copycat recipes or attempts at copycat. So I was a big burger fanatic, still am very much so, but it was like a focus of mine to go and try different burger restaurants and say, I like that, but I wonder if I can make that at home. Not saying I can make it better, but just see if I could emulate it and kind of recreate it for my own. And then I tried to do a burger pop-up at the very beginning of this, but I'm not a chef and I don't do well under that kind of pressure. And I recognized that really early that, this is not for me, but I still enjoy cooking for the fam and for the friends and appreciate the mind of a chef very much.
Awesome. And today we're actually making your original recipe that you developed from all your burger cooking. And so I'm really excited to do this. And today, this is only the second time in real life history since 2018, been around so long, that someone else is going to kind of be leading, and I'm just going to be guiding and answering questions along the way. So if you are cooking along, make sure to ask all the questions you have. TT is here to relay those messages to us. And yeah, I think we should just go ahead and get started.
Awesome.
So the first thing, as I said before, though, look, I'm already having trouble relinquishing the control. Like, did cook down our mushrooms, which we just chopped them up, put a little bit of salt, sauteed them until they were super reduced down. Like this was literally a whole carton of mushrooms. And then the bacon jam, I wanted you to walk through that because I wasn't sure if I did it exactly right. I might have just kind of I'm a chef, so I just kind of read the recipe and did what I was going to do anyway. So
that's how you're supposed to do it.
Exact way of how you would prepare the bacon jam.
Nah, to be honest, that is the way I prefer. So like a recipe is just like a guideline, but I always encourage anybody who's trying to make something to add your own little spin of flavor to it because of course you're the one making the dish, you're the one enjoying the dish. So it's really easy. As I mentioned in the recipe, a pound of bacon. What you want to do is get your skillet on nice and hot, fry that bacon up, but don't fry it till it's crispy. You want it to be a little bit chewy because you're going to put that same bacon back into the pan and cook it even further. So get your pan nice and hot, lay your bacon strips in the pan, get them nice and chewy, 5-10 minutes or so, take them out, reserve the grease that falls off of the bacon and keep it in the pan. While that bacon has been taken out of the pan, take your onion. I used a sweet Vidalia onion. I love Vidalia onions, but white, yellow onions work perfectly fine too. You want to dice that up. And as I mentioned, with that bacon fat we reserved from frying the bacon up, you're going to cut those onions up, toss the onions right into that bacon fat and get them nice and mixed all together until they start to caramelize. Low heat, medium heat, just depends on the kind of range you're working with. I'm in an apartment and our range is broken, it's trash, and I have to finesse it over and over again, but I made it work. So you want to cook those onions down until you start to see them get a little more caramelized a bit. Then you want to add the brown sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, add the balsamic vinegar into it, about a tablespoon or a teaspoon of balsamic vinegar. Then you want to take your bacon, chop the bacon, depending on how you want your jam to be like more of a strip. I kind of fine chop mine the same way I would dice my onion. Then you take that bacon, add it back into the reserved fat, the balsamic vinegar and the water brown sugar mixture, cook it down for an additional 10, 15, depending again on your range, 20 minutes, and then just let it nice and incorporate, get it all, congealed and then mingle those flavors together nicely. Yeah. See, Chef Lean's got it. She's got it. I have mine in the fridge. Hold on.
So I will say I read your recipe and you said to mince your onion before. I was like, I don't have time for that. So I just sliced my onion.
Hey,
and
that
I
works.
didn't fine chop my bacon, so I have a little bit more of a chunky bacon jam.
Yeah, and that's so if you wanted to strip the onion, like instead of doing dice, that also works. And it just depends on like the person that's making it. So as I mentioned, this is my recipe, but I always encourage anyone to just kind of do their own thing. But this is mine, if you can see it on camera.
Oh, yours looks official. It's like in a jar. It looks like a product that you bought from the store. I'm like, yeah, this is my bacon jam right here.
But it looks legit out of the pan though, so I rock with that. But yeah, so that's
so awesome that you say like recipes are guidelines, because when I teach all my virtual classes, I always say that, because I'm like, I'm not eating it, you're gonna be eating it, so you should make it taste good to you for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Hold that thought. I forgot to get my beverage. What are you drinking on tonight, first and foremost?
Some water. You know, I'm with child, so I can't.
That's right. I forgot. That's right. So again, I'll just segue a little bit and say congrats to you once again, because that is super exciting. Yeah, man, absolutely.
Please let me live vicariously through you then.
I'm having a drink for you. This is the Strange Beast Hard Kombucha. I've gotten recently like super hooked on kombuchas, whether it be spiked hard kombuchas or just regular kombuchas. I found this at Harris Teeter, local grocery store. The packaging, I'm a sucker for branding. It just looks cool.
Me too.
Yeah, and it's delicious too, so I love it.
All right, awesome.
Cheers.
So now that we have our beverages, you have your kombucha, I have my little water left here.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's go ahead and start cooking. So I guess the first thing that we're going to do is assemble our burger, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll prepare the burger mixture to make the burgers, and then we'll assemble those.
All right. Oh, yep. There you go. All right, cool. So we'll need a bowl, obviously.
Yep. I'm gonna get mine.
I'm gonna stop talking and let you go ahead and leave.
All right. So up first, I'm just grabbing my ingredients out of the refrigerator. So TV movie magic. I already have, as she mentioned, the mushrooms. So you were entirely correct. You get a whole container of mushrooms, you dice them up, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna have plenty. And then they shrink like crazy. So if you're making burgers for you and the family, use the whole container. If not, add a second or a half a container additional, because these bad boys do draw up and reduce quite a bit. Anytime I make burgers, it's always the same ratio, 80-20, 80% of the beef, 20% fat. It gives it a nice texture, nice bite to it. Whether you're using ground chuck, I've done brisket burgers in the past, which are of course amazing. But you know, typical backyard style burgers, ground chuck is perfect. So I take, yeah. So you grab your beef.
You want that fat. You don't want a burger to be like a lean sort of situation. So I was an overachiever, and I have 2 pounds of beef here.
Okay.
I'm only going to use half for now, and I'll probably make the other burgers plain, just in case someone in this house is not a fan of the mushroom component. Don't know who that would be at all.
That's like my dad. It's like my mom cooks for my father. She has to like take peppers and onions and blend them and like puree them and then hide them like a child. I'm like, come on, Pop. We're better than this.
Yeah, I might have gotten away with it if it wasn't being filmed on camera. He wasn't watching, but you know, just in case. So we have our mushrooms and our beef in here. And then
just toss that in there. So it depends. If you want to add, you know, a lot of mushrooms, you want to add a little bit of mushrooms to taste. I actually just add the mushrooms in there to add a little bit more moisture to my burger. Because again, the fat is nice. It makes it nice and juicy. And I also add a little bit of mayonnaise. Duke's mayonnaise is really the only mayonnaise that I use. I know you don't have Duke's, do you, Chef Lee? I don't know what that is.
I never even heard of Duke's mayonnaise.
Oh, come on. What's a Southern thing? You're in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm in New York and I'm from California, so yeah.
So I get it. Yeah. Then I'll give you a pass. It's cool. So yeah, we'll take your beef, your mushrooms, and I gave you the recipe with measurements. I don't do measurements when I cook, but I just kind of eyeball a lot. But this is maybe a pound of beef, so I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of mayonnaise into this mixture. Because if you add too much, it'll just make it really loose and hard to maneuver and kind of work into a burger patty. So just add a little bit of mayonnaise. Again, we have the mushrooms in this mix too to add some moisture to it. So then you just toss that in there. And then I add some onion powder. You guys see that? This is how they do like the beauty blogging, right? This, right? Okay. Yeah, like Vanna White, right?
Yeah, and in your recipe, it said a teaspoon each of garlic powder and onion powder. But like you just said, seasonings come from your heart, so do not like feel like you have to put that much. And honestly, you can't over season. Like, okay, if you poured this whole thing, you could over season. But like, it's not gonna do anything horrible to your burger if you add like a little bit more. And if you add a little bit less, you're definitely gonna notice because your burger won't be seasoned. But a little bit more is not going to hurt, so you don't have to break out the measuring spoon for this. Just
eyeball and sprinkle it in there. Onion, what's this? This is my garlic. Onion powder, and then I add in the garlic powder as well. So I had a friend of mine, well, not a friend, but an acquaintance of mine years ago when I was doing the copycat thing, mentioned to me, you know, if you're seasoning your burgers before you fry, you grill them up, you know, you're making basically meatloaf patties. I was like, all right, well then I guess I like meatloaf burgers. I don't know.
Wait, so your friend didn't season the meat before they cooked it? They just seasoned it? So yeah,
they're big on just like, I guess when you have premium quality cut meat that you're grinding down and you want to get the taste to come through, but even still, I'm gonna add seasoning to my burger, my mixture all the way through.
I'm not about that life. You need to put something
there. They were big on just salt and pepper,
it's ground meat.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm all for it. Like I said, you're gonna see me mixing the flavors in my burgers. I don't just do no bland nothing like that. So taking your meat mixture, mushrooms, onion powder, garlic powder, mix it up a little bit. In the recipe,
salt.
I'll do the salt and pepper when I'm putting them in the pan. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I've noticed that if I add salt and I'm doing the mixing, it tends to like break up the beef a little bit more and it makes it more gummy. So I like to add the salt and pepper right before it goes into that hot pan and give that nice crispness to it. So like in that case, you treat it like a steak a little bit. Yeah.
That makes sense. All right, well, I'm going to do it your way. I normally add salt, but that actually makes sense in terms of science because salt starts to make things moisturize kind of, so it'll bring out some of the moisture. All right, but I am going to use my hands. Anytime I'm working with ground meats, I always use my hand. It just makes me feel like better.
I know I'm not in my kitchen. Normally I would be, but it's like I did forget paper towels. All I have is this one hand towel.
You want to keep things as clean as possible.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I have my son's little baby fork. So this is my signature thing. Like I'm making sauces and anything, I always just use his little baby forks and spoons because we don't use these as often. So mix that up, get it all nice and incorporated. You want to be able to see the mushrooms kind of marbled. Yeah, you got it. Get it nice and incorporated here. And then, like you said, using your hands, or you can use a burger press. I've got a number of burger presses. I've got slider burger presses. I've got individual. I've got stuffed burger presses. But I noticed that, like, you feel the weight of the patty in your hand a little bit, and you can kind of feel the denseness of it. I prefer this, but if I'm making a lot of them for like a cookout or a bunch of friends are coming over, I'll use the burger press with no problem. But for this, let's just take it by hand.
I've never actually used the burger press, but also, we forgot the are we adding Worcestershire sauce to this?
Yeah, so I was telling you that I was bound to forget something in my apartment, and that is what I forgot. So,
all right, well,
wait, no, I brought it. Sorry, I did.
I'm gonna add a little. It is you have 2 tablespoons on your recipe.
So that's if you're using like a full pound or a 2-pound container of beef. But again, I don't really measure anything that I cook with. So just eyeball it. I pretty much use Worcestershire sauce in everything. I like the smokiness of it. I like the different kind of complex taste it gives things. So this is essentially just like a little bit of flavor on the back end. So about a tablespoon and a half, or a teaspoon if you want.
Yeah, I would say about a tablespoon. Last week we made spaghetti and meatballs with the Tyson family. And we added Worcestershire sauce to that, which I think a lot of people don't think to add Worcestershire to meatballs. But again, to the ground beef, like you said, it has a lot of complex flavors, like even sugars that kind of release when it cooks. So it really like intensifies the flavor of your burger. And it adds that smokiness, like you said. So if you're not cooking it outside, you still kind of get that like flame broiled kind of situation.
I ran out of liquid smoke one day, and I was like, what else can I use to kind of like get that same smokiness? And I started just leaning heavy on this. I mean, literally everything that I make has Worcestershire sauce in it. And I'm not even mad at it. I'm proud of it. So.
All right. So we're going to form our burgers now, right?
Yeah. I forgot about my Worcestershire sauce. I'm going to mix this up a little bit more. And then I'm going to go ahead and form my patties. I have a little bit more beef than I thought, so I might be able to make 3 burgers, which is awesome. I literally just got done making dinner for the family. So I ran up here and I was like, all right, it's burger time again. I made them burgers too.
So you made them burgers tonight as well?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, the plan was to cook in the apartment, but my sister-in-law and nephew are there also, and I've got 2 kids of my own, so it's quite noisy right now. So.
It would have been a real family affair.
Yeah.
So, question, when you make burgers, how do you shape them? Do you shape them like flatter, or do you make them like thicker? Like, or is it personal preference, do you think?
I make mine flatter, and then I tend to do a nice like gentle press when I put it in the pan. I don't want it to push down and get all the grease out when it's cooking, but enough to where I'm gonna set it in the pan, and the goal is for it to kind of stay that size and not draw up too much. But it always happens. So I make them a little bit bigger than what you would probably see on a regular burger. So these are maybe a little bit more than a 1/4 pound, a little bit less than a 1/2 pound patty.
Yeah, you're better than me, because one of my not strong suits in life is measuring or like making things the same.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think I use a little bit over a pound of beef because I have 2 pounds total. So yeah, these are about 1/4 pound, and they are definitely going to shrink. So if you wanted bigger burgers, you really want to make them a lot bigger than you think they're going to be, because they're going to shrink for sure.
Yeah. As we're forming these, you might want to go ahead and get your pan started and get that nice and hot. So I like to start off with like a screaming hot pan. So you get that initial sear right when you put the burger in the pan. And then I just kind of turn it down just a touch so it doesn't burn the joint all the way through. But I'm going to form this one here. And because I don't have any paper towels, I hope there's soap in this joint. I got to wash my hands.
Yeah, I'm going to turn on my pan as well. well. So when it comes to cooking burgers inside, you want to definitely use like a heavy bottom sort of situation pan. You don't want to use, this isn't, well, I guess it used to be non-stick. It's not necessarily non-stick. I wouldn't suggest using non-stick actually, because, not because it won't work for cooking your burgers, but actually because you're going to just kind of ruin your non-stick if you're cooking burgers in it or things with a lot of grease. Because the non-stick it's not made for things with a lot of grease, because things with a lot of grease shouldn't stick. But you definitely want to use like a heavier bottom skillet that you have, or like that.
Yeah, this is trusty IKEA.
I can do some great what are those things called? Equipment, and it's cheap. And as long as you're taking care of it, it actually lasts for quite a bit of time. Like actually, our one non-stick skillet that we have came from IKEA, and I've had it since I lived in New York for a really long time then. And now it's probably on its 6th year. I could probably replace it, but it's like what, $10 after 6 years?
Yeah.
It's not.
It's like it still works and make it happen, you know?
Exactly. So these are my burgers that I formed. They look kind of funny. One is clearly a little bit smaller than the other, which I actually like to do this sometimes too, because then I can taste it before I cook all of the rest of them.
I just saw his.
Oh, his burgers are.
Yeah, this is like Mondo burgers, like
yours
you
are
know.
super big.
I call them Mondo burgers from like Good Burger, home of the Big Booty Burger, home of the Big Booty Burger.
A few weeks ago.
It's a classic. It's a classic, man.
It's crazy. At this point, if you wanted to make these ahead, you could definitely stop here, wrap them, put them in the fridge. Unless you're going to cook them within 4 hours, I would leave them out so the flavors intensifies a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you could even freeze them at this point too. So you could just make a big batch of these and freeze them, and then take them out, defrost them before you try to cook them, and then cook them as you want.
I do that all the time. So anytime that I'm making, well, pretty much anytime I make burgers, I try to make a bunch of extra ones. My son, I love that he loves my cheeseburgers, because, you know, they always get addicted to McDonald's and Burger King, but he does love my cheeseburgers. So I make a bunch of extra ones, put them in the freezer. So, you know, easy, quick meals on like a weekday. You know, what are you having for dinner, buddy? Cheeseburgers tonight. So
nice. Yeah, you got to get him used to burgers and stuff inside so he's not like a dad.
Yes, exactly. All right, I got my pan. This range I'm cooking on right now is like, it's go time. Like, it's a gas range, so it's got my pan super hot already.
Awesome. But you said before we put them in the pan, we're gonna season them with salt and pepper, and you said something about an indentation.
Yeah. So before I pop them in there, I'll hold it in my hand, sprinkle some salt and pepper on top, and then seasoning side down in the pan. Take my spatula and just do a nice, you know, not too much pressure, a nice light press down on the pan to give that patty a little bit more evened out distribution in your hot pan. So I'm gonna take my plate here. Let me pull these apart.
And the other thing that's important to remember when you're cooking your burgers at home is not to overcrowd your pan. Because if you overcrowd your pan, I've said this a million times on my live cooking, but you're not gonna get that nice sear, and they're gonna steam, and then you're not gonna have that nice crispy kind of crust and color.
Yeah. So with doing like my copycat like endeavor years ago, I learned that if you add a little bit of mustard to one side of the burger patty prior to putting it in the pan, that mustard gives it the nice spicy, the additional complex flavoring. My pan is burning. Hold on. But yeah, try it next time with a little bit of mustard on your burger patty, season it with the salt and pepper, and then place it in there and let it just get that nice crust. That right there is what I'm talking about.
Okay, I learned something new today. Always something to learn in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, my pan is actually burning too. And actually, I don't know if you're gonna do this or if you've done this before, but because I have extra bacon grease, I'm gonna cook my burgers in bacon grease.
Yo, see, I'm jealous now. So I'll make breakfast like sausage like that. I'll fry up the sausage, or I'll fry up bacon in the morning for the family, and then I'll just fry the eggs in the same bacon grease or the sausage grease. And that too is pretty legit and delicious. All right, so I added the salt, added some pepper, fresh ground pepper, and fresh ground sea salt. I'm gonna pick up my phone and show you guys this here action. So I got my burger patties here. As you see, they're seasoned, salt and pepper. And then right into that pan there. You hear that sizzle? Yes, sir.
And that is the sizzle you hear. If you don't hear that sizzle, then your pan is not hot enough and you should stop placing burgers inside.
Well, I mean, I went to Milwaukee once when I was working at this sales organization, and they steam. Have you heard of a Juicy Lucy?
A Juicy Lucy?
Mm-hmm.
What is that? No.
So a Juicy Lucy originated. I think it was Milwaukee. If it's wrong, somebody in the comments please correct me. But a Juicy Lucy is a burger that's stuffed with cheese. So they take the burger while it's raw, put the cheese, and they crimp the sides down, and they use these like saucer type plates, and they put the meat down below, and they push down to see it to close the edges off. And when you have like a diner kind of a situation, they'll take those little round, I don't know, what do you call them, James? You put them on a grill. They squirt some water nearby, and they put that on top, so the steam cooks the burger as opposed to just kind of getting heated up.
And searing at the same time.
Yeah, and they're delicious. That's the home of the Juicy Lucy. And again, I went there, and I was like, okay, I learned the techniques from one of the chefs there, and tried doing it at home myself. And I didn't master it, but they were pretty damn good, though.
It sounds like it's messy to do in a home kitchen because your pan is hot and then you're squirting water on it. So I'm a lazy chef, to be honest. I like to do things that are kind of clean.
I mean, that makes sense.
Delicious and like it's a great cooking method, but in a house, unless you're willing to clean up the kitchen after, I don't know if that's practical.
I'm a mixture. I'm a messy chef, but I'm a clean chef. I'll make the mess, but I'll clean as I go. So it's like, all right, I'm done this. Let me go ahead and finish cleaning this up real quick before I move on to the next step. But to each their own. But if you get a chance, I highly recommend just at least trying out like that type of process for a steamed cheeseburger. And then on top of that, you can put the cheese on top and do the same method, and it gets it nice and melty and bubbly, and it's just chef's kiss delicious.
We have a question.
From TTYO. The kitchen smells so good right now.
Cece said the kitchen smells very delicious right now.
Good. I wish I could say thank you, but that's Chef Lean's cooking, I'm assuming. But yeah, I'm going to get you guys in close here. So these are my burgers in the pan. You see them nice and, getting the hang of this pan situation. They're getting nice and familiar with one another.
How long should we keep them on the side, do you think?
I typically go with like 4 to 5 minutes. And then again, it depends on the cooking apparatus that you're working with. So my apartment, we have a glass cooktop. Again, it's trash. If you're working on a grill and it's a medium heat on a Weber grill versus like a charcoal, situation, it's completely different. So I would eyeball it 4, 5, sometimes even 6 minutes. For this situation, I'm working with this gas range. I'm probably going to do 4 minutes, maybe 3-4 minutes per side.
And are you aiming for like a medium burger? Do you like to cook your burgers more thoroughly or?
I always, steaks and burgers, I always try to do medium. But then again, it's like, if it doesn't work out, I'm still going to crush it anyway.
Yeah, no, especially with a burger because you can put so much other stuff on it. Like we have to make the jam, we're going to make the sauce. Like it's not going to the world if it's like a little bit dry. And we added mushrooms and mayonnaise, so it shouldn't be dry at all. We have a question.
How do you achieve the perfect medium burger? If that's what you want.
What's that? I didn't hear that.
How do you achieve the perfect medium burger? So as Jerrell just explained, it's really dependent on what apparatus you're cooking on, because that's going to determine the time you need to cook the burger on each side, and how thick your burger is, and how big your burger is. In general, I would say like if you're working with a really hot kind of situation, 3 to 4 minutes on each side will give you a medium burger. If you're working with something that's not as great, like an electric stove, or just a stove that's not as powerful, like my old kitchen, probably like 5 to 6 minutes on each side for a medium burger. But you really have to play around and get to know like your own individual cooking situation.
Yeah.
It's not something I could just tell you like 4 minutes flip it, it's always going to be medium. Like there's a lot of factors involved.
Right. So while we have our burgers cooking in the pan, grab yourself a bowl and we'll go ahead and whip up this here special sauce. Again, going back to my days of copycat recipes, I was still a big fan of Shake Shack and In-N-Out. So the famous In-N-Out sauce, the mayo base with the ketchup and relish, I kind of do that. For this particular recipe, I didn't do the relish. I didn't want to mix the dill kind of sweetness with the sweetness of the bacon jam. So we're just going to do a little bit of mayo, a little bit of the same onion and garlic powder, and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce with the ketchup, and that's going to be it. So let me get my ketchup out of the fridge.
All right, so I actually want to show you guys my burgers. I flipped mine already. They have that nice crust happening on them. Lots of grease came off.
There you go. Yeah, those are great.
Don't be afraid of color. Color is flavor.
True.
I don't want my smoke alarm to go off. And then I don't know if you do this, Jerrell, but when I cook burgers, I generally try to get one side really nice and like crispy, like how that side looks. And then when I cook the other side, sometimes I'll turn down the heat just a little bit, just to make sure they cook all the way through.
Yeah.
This goes back to my olden days when I used to cook burgers when I was like 12, coming home from school, and I'd be so hungry and I would just burn the outside and then the inside would be not medium, it would be raw. So I had to learn to like lower the heat on one side so it can cook more thoroughly, instead of just burning the two outside edges.
That brings me back to, like I was saying, my first burger pop-up. It was exactly that. I had an amazing idea. It was like, we're going to do ramen burgers. We're going to do all this stuff, special sauce. I was making burgers at a pho restaurant to start. So the grill situation was not the best. I didn't even have a real spatula, but yeah, I was kind of overcooking the outside and serving burgers that were a little pink on the inside, but this is like 6-7 years ago. I'm better now, guys. I promise. I'm better.
The recipe works now, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, we forgot to mention, if you're cooking along with us, make sure to season the other side before you flip it over.
Yes,
Don't
absolutely.
So
I'm adding...
Oh, go ahead. Typically, before I season, or I keep my salt and pepper near my stove so I don't forget, because it's something very easy to do, to forget to season the other side.
So I'm actually going to do that now, and then I will get back to this here special sauce.
Our special sauce.
This is about, again, depends on how many burgers you're making, how much sauce. This sauce saves in the fridge. It's just, again, mayo-based, so you can cover it, put it in a container with a lid or a top or something, and put it in the fridge. It'll last, I honestly think it'll last a week, week and a half. But this is about maybe a quarter cup of mayonnaise. And then I'm going to add not all of this ketchup. I'll probably add half of this. We'll add about a tablespoon of ketchup. So just plop that in there.
By the way, this sauce really disgusts me, but it tastes good. I love it.
Good.
I haven't made it. I have made this before, but like the thought of mixing ketchup and mayonnaise together and just like all these random things is kind of gross. But then like when you eat it with the burger, it's actually good.
Yeah,
so don't be alarmed just adding condiments together.
I'm going to flip my burgers here. Let's see. Hopefully I don't break anything. You guys see that?
Yep. Oh, we can sort of. There we go. There you go. You got some nice crust on there.
That one's a little dark, but we'll get there.
No, color is like, color is flavor here.
Oh, I burn my hot dogs. I burn my burgers. I need a little bit of crust on my meat stuff. You were saying something. Oh, the mayo chup mixture. A buddy of mine owns a Dominican restaurant, and that's like a staple in the Dominican Republic. So like they'll do like pork sandwiches, plantains. And he actually made me this. I forget the name of the sandwich, but it was like probably the best sandwich I ever had. It was slow roasted pork shoulder on a sweet plantain bun with the mayo chup drizzle, lettuce, tomato. It was just incredible. And I actually remade it at home. It didn't do as hot at my house, but it was still delicious nonetheless. I'm going to add a little bit more ketchup to my special mix here. And then again, we're going to add the onion powder and the onion powder and garlic powder that we used into
you said about a half a teaspoon of each.
Yeah.
The recipe you actually gave us, you kind of doubled the measurements that you're using now. I know you're making only like 2 burgers or 2 or 3, so that's why you would use that sauce.
Yeah.
But the recipe that I will be distributing in my newsletter, so if you want the recipe, sign up for the newsletter, that Jerrell put together for us, uses a half cup mayo, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, and half a teaspoon each of your onion powder and garlic powder.
Yep. Get it nice and incorporated. Mix that bad boy up. Here's your sauce. Special sauce here.
Oh, your sauce is so much more like watery. It must be that Duke's mayonnaise that I've never heard of before.
You got to get the Dukes, man. Get
never experienced.
Let me check on these burgers here.
Yeah, I think my burgers actually might be done.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty done here. I'm just going to take them off the heat. And that's another thing. So when you take your burgers off the heat, recognize that the pan that they're in is still very hot. So they're going to cook a little bit more, even if you take them off the heat. So you can either take them off of the heat like I did here, and they're going to cook a little bit more, because I'm going to add the smoked Gouda. So personally, I am gluten-free and dairy-free. So luckily for me, I found these amazing smoked Gouda slices. You guys have Aldi or Lidl in New York? I don't know if you do.
Actually, we just opened a Lidl. Well, actually, it's kind of the sadness of Harlem right now, because we used to have this market called Best Yet that everyone loves, and now it's gone and it's turning into Lidl. It's like real skeptical about it. So anything good you could say about Lidl would be greatly appreciated for us.
Oh, dude, I love Lidl. So I've got a family of 4, and the biggest thing about Lidl is like I don't care about name brand anything. So you go to Lidl, and I went today. I went grocery shopping today actually, and I got almost 3 weeks worth of food for like $150. And the thing about it is like it's all like off brand, but they also have on brand and name brand stuff there. But the prices, you can't beat that, man. And of course, if you have a family of 4, like mine, my children, they don't stop eating. Like they are going to eat us out of house and home, and I'm slightly concerned and a little worried. But yeah, Aldi and Lidl, they're owned by the same company. They just kind of offer different items, different price points for different markets, but they're dope. I love them. They don't pay me for this anyway either, so just
they
so
should,
know.
Obviously.
So here, I added my smoked Gouda, and so with this kind of pan, there's no cover for it, so the cheese is probably not going to be as melty as you would like. So again, leave them in the pan and don't overcook them so your cheese melts a little bit for you. I'm not in my kitchen, as I mentioned, so I didn't bring any kind of cover to get that to melt up. So wish me luck.
I actually turned off my heat because I'm pretty sure I totally forgot we're adding cheese, which I don't know how I forgot that. It's the best part.
It's the most important part.
But I turned off my heat, and then I put the cheese on, and I put a lid on top. You guys can see back there. So hopefully my burgers are not going to be overcooked, and they'll just be cooked with the cheese melted on there. Also, I had no idea you were gluten-free, because I think in our episode I made a lettuce wrap burger because I used to be gluten-free, but somehow baby Koi just loves all the gluten and I have no ill effects from it. So I'm no longer gluten-free.
Oh man, dude, it was one of those things for me. I ignored it when the doctor told me. He was like, so long story short, I noticed I was losing weight, but I was eating everything and anything under the sun. And I'm like, I should be gaining weight. Why am I losing weight? And I learned that, okay, maybe it's probably the gluten. Doctor said, take a 30-day break away from gluten and just see what happens. I said, Doc, you know what I do for work? I can't do that. That's impossible. So I ignored it, and I went down pant size, like 2 pant sizes in a year. And I said, okay, this is something I got to get a hold of. And I just kind of nixed, process of elimination. Okay, no gluten. Okay, no dairy. And so far, I've gotten the weight under control. I'm not putting any more weight on because I've been, trying to manage it. But it was one of those things where I just thought, it was the idea of the gluten allergy it was bogus to me initially. And then I learned like, okay, this is a real deal thing. So time to respect it as such.
When I used to tell people would be like, oh, you made that up, or oh, whatever. But I really think, I don't know what happened now, because I really have no ill effects. Like for me, it was kind of opposite, like in terms of like, we're not going to get into it because we're eating, but it was just uncomfortable when I would eat gluten. But now, like, I have no ill effects. It's so strange, but it is a real thing, and I think it's just the way like gluten things are processed in America. Yep. So when we've eaten too much of it for a long period of time, your body's just like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. A buddy of mine, he owns a bread company, and we mentioned that when I guess it was the Industrial Revolution where they started producing products that weren't necessarily like the more natural products. So this fast rising flour is the culprit of a lot of gluten allergies, to where it's not a natural product that's derived from, nature.
Yeah, like all these random things in these buns, because my buns are not gluten free.
Yeah.
Like soybean oil, wheat gluten, potato flakes, cultured wheat flour, soy lecithins, corn flour. Like bread is flour and water.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And FDA is supposed to be helping us, but I really just think they dropped the ball. But anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox and get back to these cheeseburgers.
Yeah, let's finish up our burgers here.
Yeah. I don't think I brought a knife to cut so I use gluten-free burger buns. Canyon Bakehouse. Again, these people aren't paying me, but
I love that brand.
yeah, they're great. So I don't know. When I first went gluten-free, it was really painful because a lot of the options that I was finding in the grocery store were just trash. Like they were garbage. It didn't taste like what I wanted it to taste like. And then a friend of mine who's gluten-free, who had been gluten-free for a little bit longer than me, had mentioned this, and then I found them and fell in love with it. They actually were sending me bread a little bit, and then I just kind of need to reach out again for a re-up, but I'll just go buy it myself. But the other ones I've noticed, they don't have like the soft sponginess of like a regular bun, but Canyon Bakehouse does a really good job at it. So shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure. Canyon Bakehouse is great. We have a question?
We have a comment. The History Channel has been doing some great documentaries on the food that made America. And then we do have a question. What's the butter for?
Oh, the butter was for, I believe the butter was for your mushrooms, if you wanted to saute your mushrooms in butter.
Yeah, so there's two things. The butter is for sauteing your mushrooms, or if you want to butter your bun. So what I was getting ready to say is, now that the burgers are basically done, and you turn the heat down.
Oh, wait. We can't hear you. What happened? Oh, there you are.
I had a message on my phone and my battery's low. So take butter up your bun, and that's it. Toss this in your pan where your burger is. So you want to kind of get a little bit of the burger grease onto the bun. Personally, I think it adds a little bit more flavor profile to it. So I'm just going to move my burgers to the side a bit more so I can add these buns in here and get them a little bit toasted if you want.
So I have a lot of burger grease in mine. So I'm not going to toast my buns in this. That would literally be absorbed into the whole thing. So I think Jerrell's phone is about to die, like my phone has been for the past 2 weeks. But I'm not going to toast it in here, because if I were to put all of this bun in here, it would literally just be a greasy bun. It would be like frying the bun. So instead, I'm going to dirty another pan and toast my buns.
Nothing wrong. I'm going to add some more.
Oh, hello?
Butter to the bottom half. Can you hear me?
These people over here are only getting one toasted bun.
Hey, look. This is your kitchen. You make the rules. This is your kitchen.
One time, I think when Chris and I first moved in together, I made burgers. I toasted the buns. I did I made a really amazing burger. And then the next time, I just wasn't really feeling like cooking that much, but we needed to eat. So I didn't toast the buns. He's like, so you're not going to toast the buns?
You should toast the buns.
I didn't know it was a requirement every single time.
He's like, so you're not going to add...
People used to something.
You're not going to hook up the burger with a little bit of butter for me? That's funny. That's pretty funny.
Because there's sometimes, being a chef too, it's I'm cooking all day long for other people, before COVID. So, sometimes I just need to cook so we can eat. I'm not trying to do all the extra steps.
No, I feel that. And it's funny. I have a lot of friends, and they always say the same thing. I always ask them, so what are you making at home when you're not at work? They're like, yo, I'm making Kraft mac and cheese. I'm having a bowl of cereal for dinner. I'm having ramen. And I'm like, I guess because that's your job. You don't want to go home and keep working. I get it.
For sure. I eat so much eggs and so many eggs and oatmeal. Now I eat a lot better because Chris is here, so he's like, what's for dinner? But before, when I was on myself, You have a comment?
We have a comment. Wayne Williams Jr. said maybe just a little bacon grease.
Okay, fine. I'll put a little bacon grease in this other pan.
That's my dad. Super supportive. Super duper supportive.
I put a little bacon grease. And then we're going to put the sauce on the top bun or bottom bun, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. So, and again, I'm a sauce fanatic. So I'll put it on the top and the bottom bun. And I honestly always tell my friends, like, it's not a burger unless that bad boy is dripping off my hands. I need a messy burger when I make my burgers. So I'm going to go ahead and sauce up the top and the bottom. Sorry if my bun is ugly. That's the you know, the give and take with gluten-free buns.
That's
They're
the
not as
price you pay
pretty.
for gluten-free.
That's it. It gives me still the satisfaction.
Gluten-free with your fake disease. Just kidding. I'm kidding. That's what people used to tell me. I'm like, it's not fake. I really wish I could eat bread. It's so much easier.
I get their the sandwich bread, and have you seen the sandwich bread? How much smaller it is than like your normal, like people always call it petite toast. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my burger. And the thing about this cheese, it is delicious. I'm not gonna lie to you. This vegan smoked Gouda cheese is delicious. However, it doesn't like give me the melty, delicious yeah. But it's good. So don't judge my burger when you see it on my bun. All right.
All right. So I'm gonna make 2 slightly sauced ones, and then I'm gonna make one like dripping. I'll leave this one. I'm a saucy person. I love sauce.
Same, man. And I'm gonna get this bacon jam situated. I'm trying to keep this set up so I don't lose you on the phone call. I didn't realize my phone was dying. I'm sorry, Kathleen. I'm sorry.
No worries. This is called real life cooking because things happen. This is life.
That's right.
So here we go with our bacon jam. I feel like I should have made more of this. Someone asked me in my DMs how long this bacon jam lasts. I told them about a week, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet because like anything past a week, like then you're really just kind of guessing. I mean, you can do it if you want to. I do the smell test a lot of times. It's like if it smells fine, I mean, I'm gonna eat it. You know, I'm not gonna waste it and throw it away. So.
Yeah. Also, I don't think that this will last more than a week because I use a generous amount on all.
Yeah, dude, yours look really good. Those look really good. I want to show you mine, but the bun is not as pretty. I'm adding my bacon jam to my burger now.
Oh my God, that bacon jam is so good. I haven't tasted it yet.
You waited this long to taste it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Do we have a question, TT?
We have a comment. This is a judgment-free bun space.
Judgment-free?
Yeah. I appreciate you. Who's it? Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Yanilsa? Shout out to you. I'm adding. Can you rotate the camera on this? Oh, you can.
Yeah, you can. There you go.
Oh, there you go. So I'm adding. See, this is the cheese. Like it looks interesting, but it's fire. I'm not gonna lie. Adding a little bit more of the bacon jam to my burger, like so.
Good fork.
My little baby fork, yeah. And then the top bun, boom, boom. Sauce on there, cheese on there, and that's it right there. That's all she wrote.
No vegetables on here.
No.
Not a vegetable Sunday.
We don't do that out here, Chef Lean. We don't. I mean, I'm just kidding. We do vegetables, but not on this burger. We don't.
All right. So I don't normally do this, but since I have 3, so I can still take a picture. I'm gonna take a picture, or not take a picture. I'm gonna taste this because it's your recipe, and yeah, why not? I'm gonna take a nice.
Wait. Burger cheers. Burger cheers.
Oh, burger cheers.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
I'm being rude. Burger cheers.
Let's go. Aww. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what TT and Chris are eating for dinner because there's only 3 of these, and baby Koi needs 2.
Yo, this is delicious. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I'm hoping you guys are doing a good job at making your burgers at home. I try to make my recipes very approachable because, again, I'm not a chef. And my biggest thing is if you see something that you like out there, give it a shot. Just try it. You never know.
For sure. Someone just asked, do you heat up the jam? It's not actually, my jam wasn't hot. It's not necessary. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, preference. Mine was straight out the refrigerator. And I put mine on there because the burger is already hot, so it's gonna warm it up a little bit when you put it on there, but not like you don't need it to be super hot or warm or anything.
I would love
I'm glad you like it.
It's
glad
so
you like
good.
it.
I'm like, I feel like I'm at a restaurant.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah, no, you don't have to warm it up unless you're someone that's, I was gonna say weird, not weird, someone that really cares about texture or like hotness, like you really like hot food. In that case, I would warm up your bacon jam because it is gonna drop the temperature a bit. So, yeah, for sure.
I'm going in for another bite.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that if you were cooking along with us tonight, you have a successful product. If you do not, please DM me or DM Nomarama. Oh, that's what I wanted to ask you. Thank you, Jerrell, for joining me tonight. So fun to have you. I wanted to ask, what is Nomarama? Does that mean anything?
Hold on, let me finish my chewing. Hold on. So, the name Nomarama actually came from a friend of mine. Back when I was doing the copycat burger concept, I love like local business. I love, small business. I love meeting people that are different than myself. And I became super infatuated with just like learning about people and their differences that I had an idea. I'm a typical suburban kid. I love Travel Channel. I love Food Network. And I always loved the idea of just like traveling and, exploring the world through food. And I told my brother at the time, we used to do local burger night or local beer and burger night at my parents' house. And one of my best friends was there. And I was like, I really want to I want to do this. I want to go to restaurants and do the whole thing. He said, yeah, it's cool and all, but what are you going to call it? Nomarama or something? I was like, well, I don't hate that. So that's it. Funny short story. And that's where the name came from. But what Nomarama is in a nutshell is it's a local love appreciation project that I started moving to the 757, where people would continually tell me that the area was boring, or there was no food here, or it sucked here. And I said, that's BS. There's 7 cities here. And if you can't find something to do in 7 different cities, then maybe you're the problem and not necessarily the area. Yeah. So it just became a mission of mine to find local businesses and spotlight what they're doing and just put more people on to the amazing individuals who make these areas super eclectic and original.
Awesome. Oh, Chris is shouting out HU because he went to Hampton. So he likes that area. All right, well, thank you guys so much. Enjoy your burgers. If you have any questions, please DM either of us. Make sure to follow _Nomarama, which is how you find him.
Yeah.
Jerrell Williams. And yeah, thank you guys. Oh, and make sure if you want the full recipe written out by Jerrell, you sign up for my newsletter, which I will give you the full recipe this Wednesday. Yeah.
I have one more thing. If you're ever in the area or if you ever want to come to the Hampton Roads, I just put out a new show with the city of Norfolk called City with Bite. Check it out when you get a chance, citywithbite.com. We're showcasing the amazing, talented individuals, like I said, right here in Norfolk. It's amazing, from my friend Mo, from My Mama's Kitchen, to my friend Courtney, to Blanca. Norfolk has the eats. Come see us. And that's it. I appreciate you, Kathleen. Thank you so much. This was a ton of fun, dude.
Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good Sunday night. Everyone tune into the tea that's going to be dropped by Meghan Markle soon. All right. Bye, guys.
This is...
I think